Kelsey Minor here with another Kelsey Conversation, and with me today, Sway Calloway.
Yo, this is like being a part of TED Talk.
TED Talk.
Okay, except for a Kelsey Conversation.
Kelsey Conversation.
I made it, Kelsey.
All right, we're talking to Sway today about his special on VH1, Behind the Movie, Exploring Chicago, with the cast of Barbershop, The Next Cut.
Mm-hmm.
Talk to me a little bit about this special. What was the driving force behind it?
I think the need to, Chicago has been a center point for a lot of issues that our country has been facing as a whole. So whether it's, the dynamic between local government or police organizations and the citizens, race relations, economics, crime in our own neighborhoods, these are issues that many cities like Chicago face across the country. But Chicago has been at the forefront of a lot of it. It's been stuck in the news cycle. Perhaps it's because of, the president being from there, or just the fact that this homicide rate has been so high on the average for so many years. And so with VH1, what we wanted to do is explore that through a pop culture lens, that being the Barbershop 3 movie, the Next Cut, because it's based out of Chicago. And Ice Cube said something really interesting. He only agreed to come on board to do Barbershop 3 if it talked about real life issues that Chicago faces, if it addresses that in its own way in a movie. Of course, it won't be as real as what's going on in Chicago right now, but to be able to talk about it, tap into it, in that movie, you're going to see a lot of what happens in any city like Chicago.
Talk to me a little bit about, before we dive into the special, your own experiences in the barbershop, things that you learned from being a customer or a client, going to see your barber. What have you taken from that?
Even today, I got a barber that comes to my house, it don't look as clean as yours. But,
well, I just left the barbershop before here. So.
Oh, you did? Okay, I'm like, damn, this dude came ready, he's sharp. But growing up in Oakland, my great uncle, Uncle Silas, used to take me to this barber shop on a street called East 14th, 85th and East 14th. This is the same area Keisha Cole grew up in, and Too Short and people like that used to roam in that area. And it was a big deal for me. It was an event because I got to be with an elder, I got to be with an adult male, and it was different because it was only adult males in that shop, and I felt like I was a part of a club. And I was being privy to a lot of conversation. You need some advice you don't want to tell your parents, or you get game about, whoever it is you're dating, well, it's the best place to go get that advice.
Some advice.
Some advice.
What was the experience like shooting the special, and what did you find being on the streets of Chicago, specifically the South Side, where people automatically assume that's where the problem is?
People are very prideful. Very prideful. People are really conscious. The ones I got a chance, even the young kids who were teenagers, who usually are at the root of a lot of the crime statistics, and were very conscious in terms of, they were aware of what was going on. I would ask kids, like, what do you think it takes to try to, curtail this crime rate here? This rate of homicide. And every kid, not even knowing each other, the answer was opportunity. If we had opportunity, if we had something to do with our time, we'll have less ample time to make these mistakes. A lot of us are hungry, and there's no jobs out here. A lot of us can't see past 2 or 3 years, beyond this time. I can't see where I'm gonna be at 21 or 22 based on what I've seen growing up. But, man, there is a pride in Chicago that is rare. There are people in Chicago that want to see a better day and believe that it can happen.
In watching the special, there is a young man who you asked a question about being asked to join a gang, or not the choice of joining a gang, and he said he took a different path.
When I was able to truly be myself and realize that it wasn't who I am, and start going into other realms and aspects and just views of life and what's going on, I was able to escape. So
he gave you the quick version of the story, but I kind of knew the story a little more in depth, and and he was into skateboarding, and when they found out how good he was at skateboarding, the same people that was pressuring him into be in the gang was telling him, nah, you need to stay out of this.
So I just started skateboarding, and then they was like, "Oh, that's what's up. You know, you actually know how to skateboard,
Yeah.
so that's cool. You know, so the things I thought it wasn't cool was actually cool to them. So that was cool. You know?
That's something.
For real.
How do you feel the special Monday will add to the conversation that's already happening with stopping violence in Chicago, or stopping violence across the country, mind you? And how will it impact the Black community?
That town hall we had was therapeutic for everybody in that room that was selected because of some trial or tribulation that they had to face, some tragedy that they had to endure, and hopefully their stories, when people hear it, to help others around the country who are experiencing that, especially in the Black community, and show folks there are options on how we can deal with this adversity. We're still going to face it. We're still going to, but how do we start changing it? Well, look at these people's stories. They're not actors. They're not professionals. They're just like you and me, and they were able to sustain and maintain through tragedy, you know. And so being on VH1, having the opportunity to put the spotlight on Chicago, what's going on in Chicago as a whole, the Black community as well, for me is kind of dope.
Okay.
Yeah.
Soy, thank you very much.
Thank you, man.
Great to talk to you.
Good to talk to you as well, man.
All right, and you can check out the special Monday night, or tonight rather, on VH1.
10 p.m. I'm at Real Sway. Holla at me, you know what I mean? Boom.